Hey everybody, Dan here with LeafScore.com. Today I'm going to be taking a look at two different electric toothbrushes, the Sonic electric toothbrush from SURI and the ISSA3 from Foreo. These are both Sonic toothbrushes that are designed with sustainability in mind. I'm going to be taking a look at both of these and discussing how I feel about them actually using the product. I'm going to take a look at the quality of the product as well as the sustainability of the toothbrushes and the companies as a whole. So to get started, I'm going to unbox both of these products, show you what you get with each one, take a quick look at the packaging, and then we'll move on to my experience with actually using these toothbrushes. First, I will unbox the SURI toothbrush. So this comes in a SURI branded box. The first thing I see here is this bag. So this is a biodegradable bag. It comes with prepaid postage from SURI. You can put your used brush heads in here, ship them directly back to SURI, and they will recycle them for you. This is a really impressive thing from a sustainability angle. I love to see companies doing things like this and making recycling of their products not just possible, but plausible and likely. Having this is going to make users way more likely to actually return their products for recycling, which is really great. So you also get a thank you and a coupon on the back, and then this is the actual toothbrush. So really nice packaging overall. It tells you a little bit about what you get inside and how it uses less waste to package. I'm gonna slide this open. These materials feel like they're made from recycled material. I'm going to check on that and discuss it in the sustainability section. So you get an instruction booklet here, and then this is the actual toothbrush. I have to say that this is just really impressive packaging. It's a really nice experience opening this. So I'm gonna lift this out here. I'll pull this out. So fresh, so clean. So this is the charging stand. Open that up. Just a quick note on the back. It does note that this is a climate neutral product as per Climate Partner. Again, I'll discuss that in the sustainability section. This is a mirror mount, so you can peel this off, stick it to your mirror, and then the actual toothbrush is magnetic, so this will hold up your toothbrush off of the vanity or the counter in your bathroom. So really nice touch. And then this is the charging stand. So USB connection. Let me get this out of the way here. USB connection, it doesn't come with a brick, so you will need to supply your own USB brick, but if you're anything like me, you have quite a few of those lying around. Super simple minimalist design on the stand. This is magnetic, I believe. Yes, magnetic. So this will hold your toothbrush on your counter while it's charging. This second box here contains the brush head. So this packaging also feels like it's made from recycled material, and it does say on the back this wrapper is home compostable. So that's a nice touch. I know the brush heads are compostable in industrial composting sites, but not in home composting. So it's nice that this is compostable at home. Here is the brush head. Again, I'll speak about this a little bit later, but this is made out of sustainable material. These are not nylon bristles. They're made out of castor oil. And then the actual brush head plastic is made out of plant-based cornstarch. So super simple to connect this to the actual toothbrush body. So really nice design. Overall, this feels like a very solid toothbrush. It's got some heft to it. The body is made out of aluminum, and it just feels nice. It's a good size for an electric toothbrush, and it feels very sturdy. There's a single button here. If you press the middle, it will turn the toothbrush on. And you can feel that it is very powerful. And then if you press the button again, it will turn the intensity down, indicated by that small LED blue light there. And then if you press it again, it'll shut it off. So now I'm going to put this to the side and we will take a look at the Foreo ISSA3. So this comes in a less impressive FedEx bag. I'll discuss the sustainability of this as well later. So the pieces come individually wrapped. I'm not sure offhand what this material is, but I will mention that later. Looks like they gave us some free samples. It's a face mask and some moisturizer. Okay, so we'll get that bag out of the way. Let's take a look at the actual toothbrush first. So this is the Foreo ISSA 3. Comes in a plastic container, less impressive from a sustainability angle than the SURI. So let's open this up. Get that out of the way too. Open this up and see what we have. Let's get that out of the way and take a look at the brush first. So first impressions, it also seems pretty durable. The silicone on the outside feels very nice. The biggest thing to note about the ISSA 3 is that it uses silicone bristles. So these are not nylon bristles that you'd see on a traditional toothbrush or even a traditional electric toothbrush. These are all made from silicone. So that will deliver a totally different feel when you're actually brushing your teeth. There's a tongue scraper on the back, something I forgot to mention about the SURI as well. There's a tongue scraper on the back of that too. So this toothbrush is also a sonic toothbrush, so obviously this is not going to rotate at all. Instead, the brush head will vibrate and the silicone bristles will brush up against your teeth. So the vibration and the silicone bristles both mean that this is going to be a much gentler brushing experience than a traditional toothbrush or a normal electric toothbrush. There are 16 intensity settings for this, so you can go from super gentle to a little bit closer to what you'd expect from a traditional toothbrush, but obviously you're still not going to get there, both because of the sonic nature of this brush and the silicone bristles. The brush head, much like the SURI, just pops off and you have the mechanism by which the toothbrush vibrates the brush head. Easier to slide on and off than the SURI, but again, that's not a huge deal. It looks like the battery compartment is sealed here. I don't see an easy way to open that. I will discuss the components later on and why that seal matters. The SURI does not have a sealed battery compartment, for the record. On the back here, you have a small flap for recharging, so not quite as convenient to recharge this as it is the SURI toothbrush. But that seals and creates a waterproof seal for you. There are 3 buttons on this as opposed to the SURI, which just has 1. So there's a power button, plus and minus, to change through the intensities. So I'll turn this on so you can hear what it sounds like. And I'll go to the max setting. So this is the max setting, and now I'll turn it down. So that is the lowest setting, and it is barely vibrating. I can't imagine that this is going to be intense enough for anybody really, but if you have super sensitive gums, then maybe. I'm gonna turn it up all the way to the max setting, and now I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna bring the SURI back in, and I'm going to show you the difference in sound from these 2 toothbrushes. So here is the Foreo. And here is the SURI. So the SURI is quite a bit louder than the Foreo, but it does feel more intense as well, which might be nice when I start testing these, but I will certainly let you know either way. Also in the box from Foreo, you get a small travel case. This feels like synthetic leather. One thing I noticed about this travel case is when you put the toothbrush in here, there's really no room for an additional brush head. So not a huge deal if you're traveling by yourself, but if you're traveling with a family member who also uses the Foreo 3, then you're gonna have to have a different case altogether for the brush head. You also get a small charging cable. Much like the one from SURI, this is USB cable without a brick, so you will need to supply your own USB brick. So now let's take a quick look at the additional brush heads. So these all come individually packaged in a ton of plastic, which is not great from a sustainability angle. So these are the actual replacement brush heads. They're the same as the brush head on the actual toothbrush with the smaller bristles in the middle. And then this is a sensitive gums brush head, which just has the thick silicone bristles. So you can see the difference here. That's one thing that Foreo has that SURI doesn't. There are quite a few additional brush heads that Foreo sells for gum health, cleaning your tongue, scrubbing the insides of your teeth, getting your whole mouth clean, which is definitely a plus. So I'm going to test these two toothbrushes for about a week, and I will come back and discuss my experiences, which I like more, and then I will jump into the discussing the sustainability of these two products and the companies that produce them. So I'm back after about a week of testing both the Foreo ISSA 3 and the SURI electric toothbrush. Overall, I'm going to say the SURI is my preferred electric toothbrush, both in terms of use and sustainability. So first impressions on both of these, the SURI toothbrush feels much more like a traditional electric toothbrush. It has more rigid bristles, and it's significantly more powerful. So the 33,000 sonic vibrations per minute, you can feel it. When you first start using this, it's almost overwhelming. So I started for the first 2 days on the lower setting and then bumped up once I got used to it, but very high powered toothbrush. The Foreo, in terms of power, feels a lot weaker. It is a gentler brush because it is sonic, but also because it has those silicone bristles, which aren't as rigid. So it feels weaker. Both leave your mouth feeling super clean, but the SURI in the moment feels like it is doing more. So I would suspect that more people coming from a manual toothbrush or a traditional electric toothbrush are going to prefer the SURI. Another difference between these two is how you use them. So the SURI is more similar to a normal electric toothbrush in that the toothbrush does most of the work for you. So you hold it against your teeth and the vibrations do the cleaning for you. The Foreo, on the other hand, the company recommends using manual movements as well to get the deepest clean. So this is going to be kind of like a hybrid between an electric toothbrush and a manual one. So when you turn this on, you're going to want to brush your teeth like you normally would, and the vibrations are just going to add that extra level of cleaning. So in terms of how clean these leave your mouth feeling, I'd say they're about equal. In terms of the actual power and how they feel like they're cleaning your mouth, the SURI is definitely the winner. This feels way more high-powered than the Foreo ISSA 3. Both of these have timers built into them, so when you start brushing your teeth, it'll start a 2-minute timer. Every 30 seconds, the vibrations will get interrupted to let you know that it's time to switch quadrants of your mouth. So you start brushing, 30 seconds later, they will stop vibrating and then start again, and that means you should switch to a different quadrant of your mouth. There's a 2-minute timer total. At the end of the 2 minutes, the SURI just automatically turns off. The Foreo ISSA 3 will have a light at the bottom that stays on to let you know that the 2 minutes are up, but it will continue vibrating until you manually shut it off. The SURI toothbrush has 2 intensity modes, a low and a high. The Foreo outperforms the SURI in that area in that it has 16 different intensity modes. So because the Foreo is significantly gentler than most electric toothbrushes, including the SURI, I would say that most of the intensity settings you're probably not going to use on the Foreo. When I first started with the SURI, I felt like I needed to start at the lower setting and eventually moved up to the higher one. With the Foreo, I started all the way at the top. So if you have super sensitive gums, then the intensity settings on the Foreo might come in handy, but really these seem about the same in terms of the actual utility of those intensity settings. The battery life is where these two differ quite a bit. SURI mentions that the battery life on its sonic toothbrush lasts 3 to 5 weeks brushing twice a day. In comparison, the Foreo ISSA 3 lasts 6 months if you brush twice a day. So that's about 3 times as long. If you brush once a day, obviously it's a full year for this one, and then this one would be around 4 or 5 months. The charge time is more or less the same. It takes about an hour to charge the SURI totally. According to the website, I've only used these for a week, so I haven't actually had to charge them. The Foreo takes 1 to 2 hours depending on the battery life when you connect it to power. In terms of how you charge these, I definitely prefer the SURI. So on the bottom of the SURI, you can see it has connectors and it comes with a stand that it's a low profile stand you could just stick on your bathroom countertop, and then you put the toothbrush on that stand and it charges it up. The Foreo on the back of the toothbrush has that little compartment, and then that opens up and the charge port is behind that. So every time you want to charge this, you're gonna have to take that off, plug it in, and then disconnect. So the Foreo is more conducive to plugging in, unplugging, and then wrapping up the cord and putting it away. The SURI is going to be better for people who want a super convenient way to charge and don't mind a small charge station sitting on their countertop at all times. You obviously can put that away as well, but the intention is that it stays on your countertop. So another big area where these two toothbrushes differ is the sustainability of the product and the company as a whole. So SURI goes to great lengths to improve its sustainability. The entire toothbrush is modular. So aside from the brush head, all of the components in the body can be disassembled and individually replaced. This is not something you see with most electric toothbrushes. Most electric toothbrushes, including the Foreo, have a sealed battery compartment, so you cannot take that battery out. That means that at the end of that battery's life, it's going to be thrown out and sit in a landfill, which is obviously not ideal. SURI makes its toothbrush entirely modular, so if you send this in for repair or replacement, or you have an issue at any point, they can disassemble the body, replace individual components, thereby increasing sustainability and reducing waste. The brush head on the SURI is made out of plant-based cornstarch, and the bristles are made out of castor oil. So all of these components are compostable in an industrial composting site. You can't compost these at home, but SURI does include instructions on its website on how you can disassemble the components and recycle them as best as possible. Additionally, SURI sends with all of its products this compostable bag, which has prepaid postage on it. So the company asks that once you get 3 or more brush heads that are at the end of their life, you stick them in this bag, seal it, send it back to them, and they will compost and recycle them 100%. This is SURI going above and beyond, making sure that it's not only possible, but convenient for consumers to recycle their products. As far as the Foreo goes, the components are far less sustainable. So this does have a sealed battery compartment, which means that the company is not going to be able to access and replace that battery. The brush itself and the heads are made out of silicone. Silicone is partially recyclable, but it does degrade over time as you recycle it again and again, so not nearly as sustainable as the components that go into the SURI. As I mentioned, the brush heads on the SURI are made out of cornstarch and castor oil. The body is predominantly aluminum and steel, both of which can be 100% recycled. The silicone on the Foreo cannot. As far as the companies go as a whole, SURI is significantly more environmentally conscious. So SURI partners with a company called Climate Partners, and it invests in green projects to offset their CO2 production and fossil fuel consumption. So they are, through those projects and those offsets, 100% carbon neutral. The company goes to great lengths to make their products more sustainable, and that's really their primary mission statement. Foreo doesn't really go into depth on how the company as a whole reduces, reuses, and recycles. The components are arguably more sustainable than using disposable plastic and nylon bristle toothbrushes, and definitely more sustainable than traditional electric toothbrushes, but it pales in comparison to the SURI. The sustainability of the packaging of these two products is another area where SURI just blows away Foreo. Foreo was delivered in a standard FedEx envelope, and while this envelope, according to FedEx, is made out of at least 50% recycled material and is 100% recyclable, most companies use FedEx to ship things, so Foreo is not really setting itself apart from any other companies. Additionally, each individual component sent by Foreo was packaged in this material. I asked Foreo for a statement about what this is and where it comes from and how recyclable it was. Unfortunately, they haven't responded, but I'm certain that overall the packaging that Foreo uses is far less sustainable than what SURI uses. The perfect example of that is the plastic that Foreo uses to package its products. So the main toothbrush came in this large plastic container, and each individual brush head that you buy also comes in its own plastic container. This is definitely not what we like to see from a sustainability standpoint, especially when we compare it to something like SURI. So SURI uses recycled materials and includes recycling information for every piece that it uses. So the boxes with this symbol on them are all 100% recyclable. The components with this symbol can be composted at home. And then on the website, you can see information about the brush heads and how they are compostable in an industrial composting site. All of the other materials that SURI uses also include statements about the company being climate neutral. So this is the charging stand box, and there's the climate neutral climate partners notification on the back. And then the other boxes all have the recycling symbol to let you know that these are 100% recyclable and should be recycled. The small bag that contains the brush head is also compostable at home, as you can see based on that insignia right there. And it also explains this wrapper is home compostable. Please dispose of me and I will biodegrade naturally. So just a small piece of the packaging can be composted at home, but all of the packaging not only uses recycled materials, but is mostly recyclable. Additionally, SURI's inclusion of the prepaid bag to return brush heads at the end of their life is just a great way for the company to continue being sustainable even after it has gotten its money. So overall, the SURI is the winner in my opinion. Both toothbrushes work really, really well as sonic toothbrushes and even as electric toothbrushes in general. They both leave your mouth feeling super, super clean. I've had no issues using either of these toothbrushes. I prefer the SURI over the Foreo just because it's closer to a traditional electric toothbrush feel. It feels more powerful as well. But honestly, in terms of the actual performance, I think both of these will keep pretty much anybody happy. My wife also tested both of these brushes and prefers the SURI. She said that the silicone bristles felt very strange to her. I didn't have that big of an issue adapting to them. It took a day or two for it to feel normal. The biggest issue she had with the Foreo was the size of the handle, which she said was unwieldy, and the size of the brush head. So I'll give you a side-by-side comparison. You can see that the Foreo is significantly bigger. And my wife mentioned that she had an issue reaching her back teeth, her wisdom teeth with the Foreo, and she had no issues with the much slimmer brush head on the SURI. In terms of sustainability, it is no contest. SURI is far and away the winner. The product is made of mostly 100% recyclable materials. The brush heads are made out of cornstarch and castor oil as opposed to plastic, nylon, and silicone. The brush is modular, so it can be disassembled and individual components can be replaced. The batteries can be recycled, which is a huge benefit in terms of sustainability. And the body and internals are made of aluminum and steel, predominantly, both of which are 100% recyclable. On the other hand, the Foreo ISSA3 is made mostly of silicone, which is partially recyclable, but it will degrade as you recycle it over and over again. So overall, the sustainability is less impressive with the Foreo ISSA3 materials. So with the performance of both of these brushes being similar and the sustainability of the packaging, the product, and the company being way better for SURI, I would say that the SURI is my favorite of the two. If you're coming from a manual brush or an electric toothbrush, and you've never tried a sonic toothbrush, you're probably going to prefer the SURI anyway. It feels significantly more powerful, even though they both leave your mouth feeling super clean. The Foreo takes a little bit of getting used to because of those silicone brushes, but again, it performs really well. Also, if you have super sensitive gums, the SURI might be a little too intense for you. The Foreo is much gentler. I feel like the vibration is weaker, and the silicone bristles being less rigid feel gentler as well. So overall, if you have really sensitive gums, the Foreo ISSA3 might be a better option. Overall though, I would recommend the SURI over the Foreo. Hopefully this comparison video was helpful and you can see why the SURI is my preferred toothbrush. As always, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.